truthfully, one of the worst feelings that you can feel is general disappointment. Like really, like you're excited for something, or you're like looking forward to something to be wanting to so long, and then it ends up being not as great as you expect, or it'd be a lot worse than you feared, and you're like, what the hell happened? And that's fortunately at times it'll be live, or it'll be movies, TV shows, video games, music, and especially reality television. And yeah, there definitely have been some disappointing reality TV seasons, but I think we all can agree that no reality TV show season has been more disappointing, more let down, more just how did this get so bad than Big Brother All Stars 2. Like, I remember for the longest time we've been wanting a returning player season for Big Brother for so long, and we've been hearing rumblings and rumors every season, but I was like, there's no way we're going to enter a play season. And yeah, when the C Word ended up happening in 2020, we basically got that season. And while the cast might not be as amazing as you would expect, it also exciting seeing some of these big names getting a chance to play Big Brother. And while the season definitely wasn't as great when it first aired, it's one of the seasons I think has gone down as probably a lot of people's least favorite season of Big Brother. And again, if it doesn't know, I actually rewatched every season of Big Brother last year, and I think I might be on that train, honestly. Like I used to think of Big Brother 19 or Big Brother 15 my least favorites, and a couple other seasons, and all of these are pretty bad, honestly, but just the pure disappointment that comes with Big Brother 22 All-Stars, like, it had so much potential to be another great season that's worthy of the first All-Star season. Like, truly, it could have been so good. But, and it's crazy that in 5 years, 5 years since Big Brother All Stars 2 first aired, like, it's kind of insane if you really think about it. So I thought it'd be fun to do this little fun video essay where basically I talk about what exactly went wrong with Big Brother All Stars 2. I'm pretty sure we all know, but I've always wanted to do a video on this season, so I figured it'd be fun to talk about it. Talk about what went wrong with Big Brother 22 All Stars, which I consider to be the most disappointing reality TV season of all time. And if you guys haven't already, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. I'm slowly getting back to filming content, so I hope you guys enjoyed these videos. But either way, again, let's talk about what went wrong with Big Brother All Stars 2. Now, I remember the excitement going to season when it was first announced. Again, I was there. Again, it was around 2020 when, I'm not going to say what happened in 2020, but I'm pretty sure we all know what happened with the pandemic and everything. Like, it was not a fun game for everybody. Like, I remember how just, but that's a story for another day. But I'm thinking, how the hell are they going to do Big Brother during this pandemic, especially when Survivor ended up, be delayed on this thing. Now we're in the new era of Survivor, so, but that's a story for another day. And then they announced that next year Big Brother, despite it being the pandemic, was going to be an all-star season. I remember time I was like, finally. Again, I remember the excitement for the group and all the rumors that came out on who was going to be on the season and what players are going to be cast on the season, who was in sequester, who wasn't like quarantined before the season ended up airing. Like, there was a lot of excitement going into this season. Because again, the first All-Star season at Big Brother is known for being one of the best seasons in the show's history. And there's definitely a lot of potential great players that you could definitely bring back. Like, there's still a lot of players from Big Brother that I would definitely love to see make a return at some point down the road. And the rumors who's gonna be on there. It's like, we're gonna see Dan Giesley on there. We're gonna see Derek. I know probably gonna see Cody, Hayden Moss, Casey, Josh Martinez. Like, the excitement was through the roof, and a lot of pre-gaming was definitely up there as well. And finally, they didn't actually reveal the entire cast until the season actually aired. Which some people forget that they actually did reveal the cast the season aired. So I think we all kind of knew who was going to be on the season, but And it ended up being an interesting cast. Like, I will say, it's definitely not the all-star worthy cast that you would expect, honestly. But to be fair, I think some of these, I think it's kind of more out of their control, I will say. Like I said, the casting itself was not the problem here. And honestly, this definitely has potential to be a worthy cast, honestly. Like, honestly, I knew they wanted, like, Casey Clark or John Hughes. Apparently, Casey and Josh actually were originally going to be on the season. But apparently they got COVID, so that didn't happen. I think Hayden Moss was selected at one point. I would also see Hayden return. I would still love to see a Hayden return at some point. But again, unfortunately, that just really didn't happen. That's pretty unfortunate. I know that was just, but I knew that was just about control. When I revealed who was going to cast, I was like, really? I mean, of course, you get some real choices like Christmas, which we'll get to Christmas. We will get to her. And having a first boot in David from last season, which, okay, we're bringing David back of all people for an all-star season. I think it might have been more of a second chance season, but yeah. But there's some places that you would expect to be on the season, like, Tyler Crispin from Bureau 20, who just came off an incredible season at Bureau 20, being one of the most best recent players to never win. I mean, Cody from season 16, what we enjoyed him on that season, was definitely guaranteed, considering, supposed to make a dumb move, bringing Derek to the end. But of course, he was going to get a second chance in this season. Nicole Fansel makes sense. I mean, you got about two people from the original All-Star season. You got back Janelle and Kaser. Like, I remember when the Kaser announcement came, I was ecstatic. Ecstatic. Devon also really made sense as well. Spider-Man, I'm not the biggest Dana fan. She definitely made sense to return as well. But it never was a surprise, honestly. Like, Memphis and Keisha returning. Like, yeah, that was definitely an exciting prospect, seeing Memphis and Keisha. Keisha was kind of last minute thing. It was so exciting to see two people from the best season of Big Brother US return for an all-star season. Nicole Anthony also made a lot of sense because she was like the big fan favorite, but favorite from last season, which, yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. Bailey, I mean, I think Bailey was kind of more to a second chance, but I'm not complaining with Bailey, especially with how honestly they were Tyler. I will also say make a little sense as well. I mean, got a couple wins, honestly. It would be interesting to see how Ian would do on return the season, honestly. And then I have the two choices or two people that I never thought we would have seen in return. That is Enzo from Big Brother 12 and Kevin Campbell from Big Brother 11. I remember when they announced Big Brother 12, I was like, no way. Because those are two players I've been like dying to see make a return. Again, Enzo being probably my favorite member of the Gate Alliance that season. You have to rewatch. I still think he's my favorite member of the Gate Alliance in general. Like, again, the Meow Meow just had so many great character moments, so many great awesome lines as well. Like, there was so much to love about Enzo on that season. And then Kevin Campbell, who I think is actually a very underrated player from that season, honestly, had so many hilarious DRs and great moments. It had some really good gameplay moments, especially with the whole Russell thing and then 15 Jeff. And a lot of people think he probably would have won the season if he made the end with Jordan, because he actually was going to cut Natalie. And he probably would have won against Jordan, actually, if you really think about it. So, yeah, there was a lot of excitement when they announced this cast, honestly. Like I probably would expect it to be a little bit surprised, honestly, because they kind of leak a little bit. Like a day or two before this thing came out, but again, the cast itself was not the problem here. I mean, how they were on the season, that was a problem, but the people they actually cast here, that's not a problem. Like, I definitely would not mind. Like, every All-Star season does have like a WTF pick on scene. Like, Mike Berge, who ended up winning Big Brother All-Stars, was definitely the most questionable pick on that season, and the other reason he was cast because of Dr. Will. Like every All-Star season has a very WTF pick, honestly. So I really wasn't complaining about David beyond this season. So casting itself really wasn't an issue going into this season. I also hope that we're going to get a season that's going to be rivaling the All-Star season, honestly. And also factors is also not to imagine this was also 20 years since Big Brother aired, honestly. Like, it's probably not announced 25th anniversary, but at that time it was 20 years since Big Brother first aired. Like, it's crazy how much the show has changed, honestly, though. But this season, unfortunately, will continue the main issues with the modern era of the show, honestly. At least that made choice with the last, that will go with 21 to 25. And this season pretty much displays the worst aspects of the modern era, but we will get to that. But yeah, the excitement going into the season was through the roof that we've been wanting a returning play season for so damn long. And now let's definitely talk about the cast itself, which of course is another big letdown this season, but yeah. But at least most of the cast, I do plan to do 2 separate sessions on 2 certain individuals, mostly because I have more to say about them individually, so spoiler, those 2 people on the Cody and Nicole, so I'm gonna still talk about each everyone else in order of when they were evicted. So let's talk about them. First up, we have Keisha from Big Brother 10. Like, I remember when I saw her on the couch, I was like, oh my god, Keisha's returning. I never thought I would see Keisha return. Especially her on the same season with Memphis, which they did have an interesting relationship throughout that season, so that was definitely pretty exciting, honestly, even though she was kind of last minute thing, which unfortunately ended up being to her detriment, because that made her an easy target in the first week, and then she got 50 unanimously. And it just wasn't the same Keisha, honestly, which, she's an older Keisha, so you kind of get she's not like the same, person that she was in season 10, where she basically got into a lot of fights that season, and her birthday, Keisha's birthday is still probably my favorite moment in all of Big Brother. Like, no joke, that's still probably my favorite moment in all of Big Brother. So you don't expect to not be the same explosive personality, because I expect at least a little bit of playing, honestly. But, it's a combination of just being connected to Janelle and Kasa's side, and then also just not being well connected, aside from Memphis. Man, that relationship could have been so much better. So in the end, I don't think she was a dud this season, but definitely, like most of the cast, definitely a letdown. Speaking of letdown, Nicole Anthony. I don't think I see a fan base drop so hard on someone like Nicole Anthony. She was the definitive fan favorite in BB21. Again, you have to watch BB21. I still love Nicole Anthony. She was adorable, giggly, and just a very lovely person, and just had so many fun moments throughout the season. And was probably the most likable person in a season that had so many likable people, which, to be general, I think that's kind of why she was the most fan favorite. Honestly, when we look at her gameplay, it definitely left a lot to be desired at a lot of points. And this is but when you actually look at Nicole Anthony's gameplay, it does leave a lot to be desired. And this season kind of proves that Nicole Anthony is not exactly the greatest gameplayer in the world. She might be the worst one of this season if you really think about it. It's just not really too much hating, complaining about the wrong things, honestly. It's just an unfortunate led to her demise. And too bad I don't even say Nicole Anthony. I still love her on, so I still do follow her on social media. Yeah, and she's a lovely human being. Finally, last season, when I was kind of disappointed. And then we have, of course, one of the 2 people that returned from the original All-Star season. Before that, we have Janelle, who, I'll be honest, Janelle really had no fighting chance on this season. I think we all can agree Janelle had no fighting chance on this season. And she kind of proves that she doesn't really have the same fight and tenacity that she did in her first 2 appearances. And again, she definitely proves that here. Again, this song is even worse than her appearance to be about 14. This is definitely, in my opinion, her least worthy appearance in all of her seasons. By a landslide. I just don't really think she has any true memorable moments in this season. I don't really get anything that Janelle actually has done, honestly. The only reason she made it to week 3 is really because, Memphis won the week 2 HOH, and there was a power twist with Kaysa and the competition with Kaysa and the winning, and he saved Janelle. Speaking of, I think Janelle probably would have been the first boot of the season. That didn't happen. Yeah. My thoughts exactly. And speaking of disappointment, we have Kaysa, who, I love Kaysa on both his appearances, BB6 and 7. He was probably, I know he was a huge fan favorite at the time, and how he was voted back in by America in BB6. And of course, got very unfortunately. I know there was a huge outcry of the case in that season, which, yeah, to really turn up to be All-Stars, but unfortunately was just 1 week more shy of making it to the jury. Unfortunately, he was a couple weeks shy because he got picked 4th, because he played most of the same style of gameplay. But to be fair, I think Kaysa is one of, but to be fair, though, I don't think it's entirely his fault. I think Kaysa is one of those players that's always going to be targeted in any given seasons. And while it's pretty unfortunate, just the type of person and player he is. So I won't say he was a total disappointment this season, but it was unfortunate he ended up coming out a 3-time preacher in this season. And I know I'm not the only one that thinks that. And then we have Bailey, and I was talking about Ian, who are just fine on this season. Like, I don't really have, like, wrong to say about Bailey or Ian this season. I'm talking about both of them because I don't really have much to say about Ian on this season. I mean Bailey's fine, honestly. I mean, of course, the moment that she basically, she was involved in the moment on Tyler. She also had a fight with Christmas along with Davon, which is probably the only true fight that happens in this season. Which, yeah, I will definitely talk about Christmas. Christmas, by that, Bailey didn't do anything wrong this season. How she probably could have made pretty far and see if she was on the right alliance, but unfortunately she wasn't. And Ian just ended up becoming a victim of a lot of different powers on, so I think he probably wouldn't get evicted that week. And there was also one infamous moment happened this season that I will definitely get into, but overall they were fine. And I'll say, if there's any player on this season that in my opinion went up on this season, it probably will be Davon. I always loved Davon on both of her appearances on 17 and 18. But, one, she's not like the best when it comes to gameplay. In terms of personality, she is fantastic. She is just a firecracker, has so many great and wonderful moments. Just can't help but smile and laugh when she's on screen. She will make a difference, and because it's also when the Black Lives Matter thing ended up happening on this season. And also, I'll get more on this later, but her veto win is probably my favorite moment of the season. Which again, we'll get into. And despite her victory 10, Davon actually is my favorite player this season. But again, I still do love her. I mean, she ended up becoming America's favorite player for a reason. And then we have Kevin Campbell, who, honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm also disappointed by Kevin this season. Reason the fact he ended up not being the great gameplay that he was on his season. He basically was the perpetual pawn at the beginning of the week. I mean, he did one veto at least, but he just wasn't the same, like, fighting tenacity that he pretty much had in his original season. Which is pretty unfortunate, but, you know, c'est la vie, I guess. Like, I still love Kevin. I don't think my opinion went, like, super down on him, but, yeah, it was a bit of a letdown. And then we have David. Now, who honestly was kind of hilarious on this season. Like, he generally was hilarious. I would say one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to my Big Brother is casting people that had never watched the show. And the problem that with the current Big Brother season, I think it's around week 4 on Big Brother 20-something as I'm filming this. Unfortunately, some people just somehow still have not watched Big Brother, or at least know what goes on in Big Brother. Like, really can't do a little bit of research. But there's probably one of the only few exceptions that does it in a very hilarious way. We can tell he still has not watched any of on Big Brother, doesn't know what goes on this season, and makes some pretty hilarious moments. Again, probably in the worst player of the season, along with Nicole Anthony. But it does make for some pretty hilarious moments, honestly. Coach Gifford was kind of not the great, and it's to the point where basically he actually went on the right side when Ian voted out. Along Davon, but Davon never believed him because of how he always acts and everything, and Davon will believe Nicole but everything. So yeah, kind of done myself on that, but David was definitely at least another bright spot on this season, at least in terms of hilarious moments. Then we have Dave Donato. Like I mentioned before, I'm not really the biggest Dave Donato fan, honestly. I think I more realized that when I rewatched her seasons. Yeah, like I don't think she was as great in Big Brother A as I remember. Like, I don't think she was as great in Big Brother A as I remember her being, if I'm being honest. I did the whole Dick and Daniel Donato storyline that season doesn't hold up as well. But she still had a good moment in that season, and same with her appearance on Big Brother 13. Of course, she ended up being the vet that ended up turning on the actual vets on that season. And had a lot of good moments in that season, but on here, she kind of was mostly the same, honestly. She does like all the same issues that you end up spending on the seasons, but you know that she has a kid now, and also married to Dominic, and is also married to Don with that same season. But overall, she was just kind of on the season. I don't have much positive or negative to say about her day, honestly. Like, she definitely had her moments, but overall, I don't think I don't want Daniel to turn on to for 4th time. But yeah. And then we get to another huge disappointment, that is Tyler Crispin, who of course was probably the biggest lock for a return, considering that he finished second on his season, is the Bailey one of the new best recent plays the win, at least at the time. And I love Tyler, honestly. Like, a great person, great character, but also just a fantastic gameplay in general. Like Tyler Crispin plays one of the best winning games in all Big Brother. To where, yeah, him returning was extremely obvious. And I think we all know what happened. Again, he was still in love with Angela at the time, honestly. He was like all lovey-dovey with her and all that stuff. Apparently, he did jewelry business together. And apparently, he actually turned down the original this season. But Angela convinced him to do so. And it was definitely so exciting, but you could just tell his heart was not in it this time around. I mean, it was to the point where in week 5, when Bailey and Davon were on the block, he trying to tell him that he was going to convince Christmas to put him up and get himself evicted. And then he tried to do that as like a big, the Black Lives Matter move, like I mentioned earlier, but you can tell his heart wasn't in it. It was definitely a moment that was just, honestly, I really don't know how I really feel. I still don't know how I feel about 5 years later. And it's just pretty unfortunate, because honestly, again, I mean, Tyler still proves on this season that when he's actually on his game, he is playing extremely well. Again, great socially, great competitions. But again, while his heart really just wasn't in this season. And to why I won't say my opinion didn't went down on Tyler this season, but overall, it was just kind of let down to see someone's great. Tyler just really wasn't feeling this time around. And now we have Memphis Garrett, again, the second part of the Renegades Alliance from Paper at 10. Like, I remember his casting just like, ooh, Memphis! And I was like, at the time, I hated Memphis. I really loathed Memphis on this season. I think most of that's because of how he treated David for most of the season. But I will say, I don't hate him as much on his rewatch. Yeah, he was also a big letdown this season. Just, again, how he treated David was not okay, honestly. I didn't like the storyline at all. And overall, he just did with the same energy he did on that original season. So that's all we can say about Memphis, to be honest. And then we have Christmas. It's crazy that she ended up making another deep run again on this season. Like, I'm not explaining another video, but Christmas might be in the debate of being one of my least favorite. It might be being my least favorite house guest of all time. It's something that in the beginning I always enjoy on both her seasons, but as time goes on, when she plays more just ickiness, I just get turned on whenever she's on the screen. And this is no exception. Again, that fight she had with Bailey and Davon. Oh, yikes. Yikes. Yeah. Again, if you know, we know. But overall, couldn't stand her this season as well. Because it's insane she ended up making a deep run this season. And both seasons, she probably wouldn't have won if she made it to the end, which is still pretty hilarious. So, yeah. And the last one I'm talking about here, because again, I do plan a second, there are 2 people for their own sections. We have Enzo, who was also kind of a bit let down here, but I still enjoyed him on this season. He does have that same great personality that he did on his first time on Big Brother 12, honestly, and I was excited to see him actually make a return. Like, actually would be cool if he and Hayden would be on the season. But as a person, he could definitely stand on his own aside from being with Matt, Lane, and Hayden. Again, while there was some disappointing aspects with his gameplay, here was more of like a floor to Cody. He still plays a pretty solid game. To be fair, the only reason he ends up losing was because he was next to Cody, because he didn't cut him. Like, if he did that, he easily would have won the season, would also be considered a great winner, because he was just a great character and just a great overall personality, and does have some pretty solid good moments in general. As a social game, it's just a very likable person in general. So I won't say I was a tad bit disappointed, honestly, with the kind of game he does play. Also, the fact he actually makes it to the end and actually makes it to the final 2, was pretty impressive. The unfortunate thing was just to Cody, which, again, we'll get into. But before we do get to Cody, I have a little interesting thing to say about one other person before we get to Cody. I have a lot to say about these next few people. I decided to get their own sections. The first one and the last two we talk about is the third place finisher of Nicole Franzel, who competed on 7th place on paper 16 and won paper 18. So again, it kind of makes sense to her make a return this season, but I want to say is, of all the disappointing returning players that we have gotten, I don't think my opinion went down so much on someone than Nicole Franzel. Oh my god. And it really hurt because I was a Nicole Franzel stan at the time. Like, Paper 18, I adored Nicole, honestly. I could not get enough of her giggly, bubbly personality. She was a great underdog on the first season. Again, did not play the best of times, but you should help love her. And again, her giggly bubbliness as well. She was one of the more likable people on that, one of the most likable and memorable people on that season. And again, she probably wasn't going to end up winning because Derek could have won that season. She was still a great character on that season. That definitely displayed a lot of potential. To a point where in Paper 18, she actually made a return on that season. For she plays one of the most underrated winning games of all time, honestly. She just plays one of the most underrated winning games of all time. And again, Spills by her bubbly, underestimated stuff. Because that's when Nicole I didn't realize about that. I think Nicole Franzel is at her best when she is being underestimated. When she's actually, people don't expect her to make it far, don't expect her to win, don't expect her to expect her to go far, and then she actually does. And really, she does go far in the season. She does finish 3rd place. But it still just she ends up coming at one of the biggest disappointments of any returning player ever. And why is that? Well, one, she just doesn't play that giggly, bubbly personality that you would expect. And again, that was really disappointing to see. Like, I felt like Nicole was kind of more of a different person on this season. Most because she was actually more involved in Majority Alliance with the committee, which again, I will talk about that when we get to Cody and we'll get to other parts of this video. But again, it was just really lackluster to see how she was portrayed on this season, or how she acted on this season. And actually, she also had the infamous moment where basically she got pretended to be upset by victim Ian, and then there's also this infamous moment where she and a lot of people kind of made fun of Ian's autism, which now I could have made that his own section, but I kind of ran out, honestly, and that certainly doesn't help either. Like, I think I was already down Nicole already, but that moment certainly doesn't help either. And again, I just didn't really feel much Nicole during this season. Again, she didn't display that giggly bubbiness. Like, she basically was a big example of a show of her former self. Again, she still played a solid game, honestly, and in fact, that she won the season and was able to make it still 3rd is admittedly impressive. I will not deny that. But at the same time, we just don't get that great underestimation and that great charm and bubbliness that made us fall in love with Nicole Franzel in the first place. And also, I will say, though, definitely Cody's blindside of her is definitely one of the only true blindside of the season is Cody actually evicting her in the final 3. I will also give her that. But again, Nicole Franzel just really let me down this season. And I think she did for a lot of people too, honestly, which, again, it's really unfortunate. But thankfully, I will say I am definitely back on Nicole Franzel love train after her appearance on the Reindeer Games, which was definitely a season I was not excited for, and I might make that its own separate video. But that season made me fall in love with Nicole Franzel all over again. Again, she wants to play that underestimation, that bubbly, giggly personality that she is known for. And the fact that she won a challenge-focused season of Big Brother is incredibly impressive. Especially when she's on a season with Frankie and Xavier and Cody as well. Like, damn. So I'm saying I am back on Nicole Franzel love train, and from looks like she does seem to learn a lot from her mistakes on this season, so I'm thankfully happy on that. But I know it'd be a tie, but I have Nicole Franzel on my top 10 favorite players of all time, and then she went down so much after this season. And from again, I feel like she's went down a lot of people as well, so I hope it's not just me that feels like that, but yeah, Nicole Franzel, there was a time where I was incredibly let down by her. Thankfully, I love her now because they're up here at the Reindeer games, and she seems to be doing great for herself now. Again, she's married to Victor from season 18, and she also has a kid now. But, yeah. Oh, boy. And now the last player we were talking about, Dan. I really don't know how I'm going to talk about him on this season, but I'm going to talk about the person that ended up winning this season, and that is Cody Calafiore, who was the runner-up at 16 and the losing to Derek. And of course, by the way, now you think he was kind of boring on that season. He was definitely going to return for the next returning play season, and he did. And he ended up winning, probably one of the most dominant games in Big Brother history. And a really boring one at that. Some of the game is even boring than Derek. Yeah. I don't know how that was possible, but here we are. And before I continue, I'm going to say this. I don't have anything against Cody Calafiore. I don't have anything against him at all. I don't hate him or anything. I don't think he's like a terrible person or anything. Like, for what I follow him on Instagram and on his Twitch streams, he's a genuine good guy. And he's definitely a very nice person in general. So this is nothing against him at all as a person. I just want to make that perfectly clear. This is and how he involved the podcast he does with Derek, honestly. So I do like Cody, honestly. I do like Cody. I just want to make that pretty clear. But it's unfortunate that his gameplay is kind of what ends up like sick in this season. And I'll get more into that in a bit, but he does play one of the most impressively dominant wins in Big Brother. But there's one thing that he does has proven that, sometimes dominant wins don't make for the most riveting television. In fact, it makes for a really boring television if it ain't that this season and from Big Brother 6 seasons ago by. Honestly, and somehow he was even more dominant play games and a more boring one, which you definitely got hints of some of these aspects on earlier seasons, like I mentioned with Derek's win in Big Brother 16. Who he basically just broke the battle block twist in general, honestly, and then he ended up developing a great social game, was able to get a lines that allowed him and his allies, especially Cody, to make it to the end and win. And he also got a little bit of that with the Gate Alliance with Hayden, Enzo, and Lena Matt for Big Brother 12. Alright, and there were hints of that in other seasons. I noticed that the most enjoyable Big Brother seasons is pretty much when there really is no true alliance and everything's just very chaotic. I mean, everything's just more chaotic. I mean, that's kind of my reasons why Big Brother 26 was as below as it was, and why I personally think Big Brother Canada 10 is my favorite season of Big Brother. And well, yeah, again, Cody does play an impressive game. When it comes to gameplay level, he's like an easy top 5. If not top 3, honestly. I'm not denying that. I am not denying that. But basically, he just develops like certain community alliance with basically everyone from the outside, like, Enzo. I mean, technically Enzo wasn't involved, but he kind of was. Nicole for Enzo, Dave Donato, Memphis, Tyler, and Christmas, unfortunately. And they basically steamrolled the entire season with no basically like backstabs or blindsides or anything, which is kind of what it got to be in the first place. Like, this season is basically the worst aspect of the modern era that proves the game of Big Brother, as much fun as it is, can easily be broken and fixed. And also I know this season also has a lot of pre-gaming involved as well. I'm not going to get too much into that, but I know there was some pre-gaming involved as well with Cody and other players as well that also didn't really also help out as well. But yeah, it made for very much a longer season, which again I will get to that mostly. But yeah, Cody, and to be fair, I never really found Cody, and also Cody, in terms of gameplay, in terms of personality, I remember enjoying him much more when I first watched both of these seasons, but when you're watching both of them, I'm just like, oh yeah. No, people find it boring. I don't think like total duds, but they're not the most interesting TV here. Like, honestly, I think Cody was more, like, honestly, I don't know if it's haunted or not, but I think Cody was more fun on his time on the Traders and Reindeer games. And Traders, I think, is being almost halfway, and Reindeer games is only 2 episodes. And he had more personality on those seasons. Again, nothing against Cody as a person or I'm not attacking him or anything. But I think I'll agree he's never been the most engaging television presence. And also, fun fact, I predicted he was going to win from the first episode. Yeah, when you put the intro, it's like, yeah, he's probably going to win the season. And I was right. And I was right. Again, he plays one of the most impressively dominant games ever. Like, the only time he was ever, truly in danger was probably the Final Four. But aside from that, he was pretty much, steamrolling the entire season. And he's so far one of the only 2 winners along with Tyken for Big Brother Canada 9, which I think aired around the same time, I believe. Or, yeah, which I think aired around, which I think aired next year before this. Only winners to make it to the end without getting nominated. And if I think Cody's also more impressive because I think Tyken got very lucky on that season. But that's a video for another day. That's a video for another day. But it is pretty impressive that the Cody made sure the entire season without getting nominated once on his season. And it is pretty impressive if you really think about it. Yeah, but yeah, sorry for the rambling, but yeah. Cody again, he's an impressive dominant winner, but his style of gameplay that does make the season feel like a slog, which, speaking of slogs, yeah, this season was a slog to get through. Oh my god. This season literally has some of the worst pacing in any season of Big Brother. Considering that it will end up being a season that basically just steamrolled the entire season. And the season did have a few twists, but the twists just didn't really end up mattering much at the end. Again, also, guys, the twist here ended up not really mattering much, honestly. I think David did kind of win a twist where he had to take himself on the block, which was only for 1 week, but you know who's going to hit at some point. Danny Dal got a useless power, which you can basically have the HOH. Basically, you can have the HOH playing the outgoing HOH, which he used on Memphis for some reason. And then Chris got a power of that. I don't remember if she used them, not honestly, but yeah. Again, it was kind of a slog to get to a wall. There was 1 moment between, which I'll definitely get into in a little bit. Alright, it's hard to find anything true that's noteworthy of this season, if you really think about it. And again, aside from Final 3, there was no true blindsides, no true backstabs. And even the community line that to make it to Final 7, you can kind of tell. Who was going to basically be the placements, honestly. And that makes it even worse. And this season also actually tried to have a triple eviction, which could have been exciting. It's not definitely the triple eviction that they were trying to do in Big Brother Canada. It just had 2 separate evictions. Which again, could have been interesting. If not, if obviously they only had the steamroll in this season. But in fact, they had they had a production hiccup and they unintentionally revealed it to the house guests before the second eviction. Which, yeah. Triple eviction could have been so exciting, could have been so great, but again, it's point where even in the end game, even in the end game itself, they were struggling to find content, struggling to find anything exciting to bring up, because there wasn't much to bring up. There wasn't much to be excited about. Honestly, again, this season really has some of the worst pacing ever, and there definitely have been some badly paced seasons of Big Brother, Big Brother 16, Big Brother 25. Season 18, they're feeling extremely long. But it's pretty unfortunate that season just, because of how much of a steamroll it was, you just end up feeling bored for most of the season. Like I said, I did rewatch this season when I rewatched Big Brother season 9. There are a lot of points where I really wanted to stop watching because how boring it was and how much interesting it was. And the season itself was just not fun. You can tell that no one was having much fun on singing. And this is around time when COVID was happening, so that probably didn't help with that either. But in reality, it kind of reminds me a little bit. It's a little reminder of Survivor All-Stars, the first All-Star season. We can tell no one's having fun. Because it doesn't have any of the things that made that season so controversial. But it was just around time when COVID started, and probably some people didn't really want to truly come back, or at least it was the wrong time for some players to come back. It just makes the aspect just so frustrating to watch. Again, the pizza in the season is just Oh my god, yeah. Those are the times I want to be watching honestly because that's just how boring it was. Yeah, so in the end, were there actually any good aspects of Big All Stars 2? Honestly, I can say it's probably been my least favorite season. Now, honestly, after watching it, I can say there are some good elements of the season. Again, even the worst reality TV show seasons, I can still find some good elements of it. Like, there's only like really one reality TV show season last year you can't find anything positive, and that's Survivor UK season 2. But that's a topic for another day. There'll definitely are some positives despite the fact that I don't like the season at all. I think it's terrible, but there are definitely some positives like I mentioned. Again, for me, my favorite moment of the season probably has to be when Devon actually won her first veto in week 6. Like, that was an incredible moment. You can see Devon actually, win a competition for once, using save Kevin on the block, which was, again, her emotion and what she was feeling. Again, you really, Devon not only she has to make at least a week far she did the last time, even though she ended up getting Bridget the next week, which again was pretty unfortunate. But you really felt a lot of the emotion with Devon on that moment. And again, she also has a good moments as well, especially with her talking about the Black Lives Movement aspect as well. Like I mentioned before, David also has his moments with him being just a big dodo in the edit. Like, they really make him feel so dumb for not knowing what goes on in Big Brother. Honestly. And like I mentioned, the only true blindside that happens is pretty much in the Nicole Franzo blindside in the final eviction, where you really feel, yeah, that's one of the only moment of the season we actually feel, one of the only moments of the season we actually feel any true genuine emotion. Like how Nicole Franzo was feeling, how she betrayed she ended up feeling, and the Cody ended up evicting her. Like, you really do feel that. And you also get the occasional funny character moment here and there, like from Enzo and Kaser, and I get these ones as well, and Kevin. But to be honest, that's really it. Honestly, those are really all the positives I really have on this season. Yeah, that's really all. That's pretty much all I have, honestly. Sorry. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about this season. Again, Paper All Stars 2 is what was going to go down as being the biggest reality TV show disappointment of all time. And again, it's pretty unfortunate because, again, all the hype going into this season that we're finally going to get a returning play season. And I'm pretty sure I'm not saying anything new while talking about this, but I know I've always wanted to do a proper video on this season, so I hope that y'all still enjoy me rambling and talking about this season, because, yeah, this was not a fun season to get through at all. Like, in terms of when talking about just in general Big Brother, this is easily the worst, honestly. Like there's a point. I remember there's a point where I had Big Brother 19 as the worst. There was a time I had Celebrity Brother 2 as the overall worst. I mean, Celebrity Brother 3 as the worst. Honestly, hell, I think Big Brother 21 was the worst. Was the worst at one of these points. But those seasons do have at least some good positives, some high highs. These seasons, these seasons, like, even the highs I mentioned are all like extremely high. And it has some of the biggest low lows out of any Big Brother season. Like, yeah, it's plays a lot of the issues with the air at this point that unfortunately have continued the next few seasons, which I mean, we still can't get those issues, but at least they're more fixed somewhat. And Big Brother is always going to be a season in the modern days. It's going to have like these big red flags, unfortunately. But last season, at least 26, at least some aspects of this current season to prove that when it's at its best, Big Brother can be entertaining, fun, and exhilarating, whether people are playing good or whether they're playing terribly. Sometimes people play pretty terribly, especially with these last couple of seasons. Jesus. But some of the worst situations ever. But yeah, we just get really dull gameplay in this season. I get players that aren't really have much fun. Get some players that didn't, like Tyler, that didn't really want to return on this season. And you go on probably one of my least favorite fights in the show's history with the Bear Devon fights. And overall, just seeing that just wasn't fun to watch at all. I was very bored for most of the season. It has some of the worst pacing out of any Big Brother season. In my opinion, it has the most predictable winner ever. I just hope next time we do eventually get a returning play season, or a season that has some returnees, it's gonna be much better than this. Like, damn. And that's pretty much my thoughts on Big Brother All Stars 2. Hope you guys enjoyed this little fun video essay video. Again, right now I'm currently filming my phone, so I still hope you guys enjoyed me rambling on this season. And I've always been wanting to do these type of essay videos on some Big Brother season, so definitely let me know if you guys want to see more of this content on this channel. And let me know and definitely let me know your thoughts on Bieber 22 down below in the comment section. Let me know if you guys, if something that if there's some people out there actually do enjoy this season, if you guys actually do have some more positive to say about this season, or you like me think it's the worst season of Big Brother ever. Again, you plan to do more of these retrospectives in videos at some point. I actually have a lot of fun to do. I've always wanted to do these type of video essay type of videos. I got kind of going through like experimental new era phase right now, so I hope you enjoy. The next one I'll be doing is for Bieber 25, so stay tuned with that. This is the Survival Encyclopedia, signing off.